find my mark here. Let's go!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to discuss something a little bit different. I want to talk about something that's been bothering a lot of people for a long time, and that is the way that Amberlynn Reid talks about historical events, real people, and real tragedies. This isn't about policing her speech or making fun of her for not knowing anything. It's about the way that a public figure speaks publicly and the impact that it might have on historical people or documented events, the way that it impacts things. I don't want to make a joke out of this. I would like to take this pretty seriously, although there will probably be a couple of jokes made at Amberlynn's expense in here. I'm here because of some of the things she said that to me are concerning and dismissive and disrespectful, not only to history, but to the people who lived it. Some of these people who are still alive. So, the reason I really wanted to make this video right now is because a couple weeks ago, Amberlynn had this to say about the Diary of Anne Frank.
Can you read us a diary entry? No, because people think that's a diary means nothing. But yet you read the Diary of Anne Frank. Like, I don't get it. Diaries mean something. Journals mean something. Just because I'm Amberlynn does not mean anything. Like, journals are everything to some people. And you know how many, like, biographies there are out there? That's kind of like autobiography. That's kind of like a journal.
So as you can see, Amberlynn compared her personal journaling to the Diary of Anne Frank. Now, journaling's healthy, for most people at least. It's good self-reflection. In Amberlynn's case, I don't think it helps. I don't think it's beneficial. I think she mostly just writes down her delusions and her lies and kind of gases herself up and then tries to use it as proof for something. But comparing your personal journal to Anne Frank's diary is very tone deaf. It's more than that, but it's so tone deaf. It reflects a lack of understanding about why Anne Frank's diary is so important in the first place. Anne Frank's writing is a historical record from a child experiencing persecution and genocide during the Holocaust. It's shaped how we understand that tragedy. It's a personal historical account, not just some teenage diary. I mean, Anne Frank was not just writing about her crushes or her YouTube career, right? She wasn't just documenting her lies. She was documenting something actually important. Amberlynn's journals are just a personal record of her everyday life, embellished here and there, but it's just a record of her life. It doesn't have anything to do with any sort of historical event. And it would be fine if she wants to record her own life. That's totally fine. A lot of people do. It's just about the fact that it's being put on the same level as one of the most important historical texts of the 20th century. Amber fails to realize that it's not about taking diaries seriously. Truthfully, the reason most people don't take her journal seriously isn't because she's not on the level of Anne Frank, it's because she's a known liar. Now, in the past, Amberlynn has claimed things like Helen Keller isn't real or Stevie Wonder isn't blind.
Do you believe in Helen Keller? No.
Yeah, you heard that right. Amber doesn't believe in Helen Keller. She's not the tooth fairy, Amber.
And is like, dude, are you for real about Helen Keller? And Amber says, quote, well, a lot of people just know like the surface level of Helen Keller, but like if you dive deeper into it, like learn the things about what Helen Keller did, I don't believe that she did all of those things. Like, I believe Helen Keller was real in that sense, but not like all of the things that she did, unquote.
I played a salty crab video there because Amber's lives are awful.
You guys probably think I'm dumb, but this is just fun conspiracies, okay? So the last one is I thoroughly believe that Stevie Wonder is not blind. Look at this clip, okay? How does he see in a loud room with loud people, loud singing, loud band, loud audience? How does he know that the microphone is falling? Tell me how that's possible. It don't add up.
Whether these statements were trolling or just attention-seeking or whether she really believes them, I still think she shouldn't have said it. Denying the existence of real disabled historical figures is absolutely absurd. I mean, imagine if in 50 years' time someone made a video about you, Amber. What if they claimed it was impossible for a woman of your size to exist? That you were just faking it with fat suits and filters? What if they denied you ever walked to the tree? All right? What if they were tree deniers? Helen Keller was a real person with documented work, writings, speeches, and an impact on disability rights. Stevie Wonder has also been very open about his blindness and has decades of public life to confirm what he's saying. These are basic, widely known facts, and questioning them isn't quirky or funny. It reinforces the idea that disabled people frequently fight against, which is The idea that their disabilities are being faked or overly exaggerated, or that we should be suspicious of someone who claims to have a disability. When someone with a large platform just so casually undermines disabilities like this, it sends a message. On top of that, Stevie Wonder is still alive. Both Anne Frank and Helen Keller are not around to hear Amberlynn's rude words, but Stevie Wonder is. So the hurt isn't just theoretical. Speculation like this could actually impact his life. Next, Amberlynn made comments referring to the moon landing as that fake Neil Armstrong crap.
The moon landing
Okay, I agree with you on that one.
did not happen. One useless fact.
Like what?
The moon landing didn't happen.
God, this again?
I believe the moon landing didn't happen. There's a lot of proof. There's a lot of proof online. It just seems like we were trying to make it to the moon before Russia. So we lied and said we did it. What's that saying? That's a big step for mankind. That fake Neil Armstrong crap.
Now, people question government events all the time, okay? Healthy skepticism exists. I know people who have questions about how that particular event occurred. But again, it's about the context. There is a major difference between having questions about something based on research and just casually dismissing major historical achievements without engaging with any of the evidence or understanding anything about it. The moon landing is one of the best documented technological accomplishments in history, and calling it fake crap without any sort of real reasoning isn't critical thinking, it's just spreading misinformation. And when someone who has an audience spreads misinformation, that misinformation spreads. Going beyond this, Amber has claimed that the moon isn't even real, so I honestly have to wonder if this isn't just one big troll on her part, but it is still worth noting. Another comment that raised concern was when Amberlynn said that if she could go back in time, she would want to be on the bus with Rosa Parks.
Because Rosa Parks I've always looked up to her. I would go to the past and I would be on the bus and I would stick up for Rosa Parks.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I feel like she stands for something bigger than what she even probably realized at the time. And I just wish I could have seen it happen. As sad as like her position was, I just look up to her and the situation and what happened so much.
On the surface, that might sound supportive. However, the way she talked about it so casually really felt disconnected from the reality of the struggle that Rosa Parks and her contemporaries were going through and the danger surrounding that moment in history. And it just really showed that Amberlynn is ignorant. Rosa Parks wasn't just sitting on the bus to make a symbolic point. She wasn't caught in the wrong place, wrong time. While I'm sure there were incidents where Black women faced random, unprovoked discrimination on buses, this was much more than that. She was protesting segregation in a climate where Black people faced violence for resisting racist laws. Amberlynn, inserting herself so casually into that narrative, minimizes the risk and courage involved. Historical events should not be treated like something you could visit for the sake of being a hero. Again, I doubt Amberlynn said this maliciously. I think she said it because she wanted to look like a hero, and she thought her audience would eat it up. I think this one is a result of Amber's ignorance, which I wouldn't really care about if she hadn't spoken about it. Remember, kids, there's no shame in not having knowledge of a historical event, but there is shame in speaking about something that you have no knowledge of. And then there's the comments she made when asked if she remembered 9/11. Her response was that what she remembered most was being forced to eat yogurt.
That was actually where I was when 9/11 happened, and I'll never forget it. Like, I was sitting there because where I sat, so it was like the kitchen, and there was a doorway to go into the living room, which was right here, and they always had, usually 9 times out of 10, they had the news playing. Yogurt used to literally make me gag. Make me gag. And there was this staff member who we had to call grandma for some reason. I don't know, it was fine. Like, she was an elderly lady. She would not let you leave the table, even if you missed school, until you finished everything on your plate. I'm the last one there, and I'm sitting at the edge of the table because we had our assigned seat, so I could see the TV. And I'm sitting here with strawberry yogurt, and I am trying to gag it down. And I look over at the TV. That's when I saw the 9/11 happen. And I don't know, that's just what I remember. It's I'm over here gagging down yogurt when there's bigger issues going on in the world. It's just so crazy.
Now, Everyone processes trauma differently, especially kids. All right, it's not unusual for people who were young at the time to remember unrelated details like what they were doing, what was on the TV, what they were eating, okay? But she delivered that story with kind of a lack of empathy, and it showed that she didn't understand the gravity of the loss that happened that day. It came across as trivializing, even if it was unintentional. Now, I'm old enough to remember 9/11, although I was only 7 years old at the time. Most of what I know about that event I learned later on. At the time, I just remember my mom watching TV and being very upset about something. And I was upset because she was upset. I wasn't upset because of what was on the TV. I didn't understand what was happening. So I can understand that a child might not really grasp what was happening at the time. I certainly didn't. But knowing what I know now, I would be a lot more careful about how I spoke about it. In my adult life, I've gotten to know a gentleman who was in one of the towers. Thankfully, he was on a lower level and was able to be evacuated in time, and he's perfectly fine. But I've also met a family of someone who was on Flight 93. These things have lingering consequences for real people, which is why we talk about them with the gravity that they deserve. So this is the problem. Amberlynn consistently speaks about historical events and people with a total lack of any knowledge about what was going on, usually a severe lack of compassion, and just no understanding for how her words will be perceived. Because she's a public figure, her words don't just disappear, they spread. I mean, the Anne Frank video just happened, and it's already on multiple websites. When she undermines disabilities, she contributes to a culture where disabled people constantly have to justify their own experiences. When she compares herself to Anne Frank, she trivializes what happened. When she dismisses events like the moon landing or 9/11 without knowing what the heck she's talking about, she reinforces misinformation and reduces tragedies to anecdotes that she can accept or deny as she sees fit. Even if she's joking or trolling or trying to be a quirky girl, it has consequences. Public figures influence public understanding, and misinformation, whether it's careless or not, undermine the importance of conversations. And while I know nobody's getting their information from Amberlynn, it is still a problem. I'm not saying that Amberlynn intends to be harmful with her words. Her tone often suggests that she does not understand the weight of what she's talking about. Not to be too blunt, but our girl is not smart. And it would not surprise me if she has no clue about any of these things. So I don't always think she's being malicious. I really do think she is that dumb. But intent isn't everything. There is an impact to our words. And when you are an online personality with a large audience, you have a certain responsibility to speak with at least some level of awareness, or, and this is what I suggest Amber do in the future, just don't talk about it. Nobody's asking for her hot takes on Helen Keller or Anne Frank. You know, if I never knew what Amber thought about the moon or the moon landing, I would probably be better off. I don't care to know what she thinks about them. If she has a hot take, she's welcome to journal it instead of putting it on the internet. There's room for humor, there's room for commentary, there's room for discussions about things, but these things should never come at the expense of real people and real history and real suffering that happened. There's a way to discuss things properly. There is a way to joke about things without minimizing them, and it should be done with a certain level of respect. It should be done after acquiring the proper knowledge about the person or the situation. History deserves accuracy. Disabled people deserve respect. Civil rights figures are not just damsels in distress, and tragedies deserve sensitivity and gravity. If Amberlynn wants to talk about history, she absolutely can. But I think she needs to do it with more care and more knowledge, or just not speak about them in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!
I am an actual idiot in this situation. Common sense, the empathy side of me, the respect side of me, the moral side of me should have known, Amberlynn, this is stupid, this is offensive, and this is wrong. And for that, I am truly sorry.